Unit Test 7. Listening. Listen to 5 people talking about poetry. Choose the correct answer, A, B or C. 1.
To be honest, I'm not a big fan of poetry. I'm certainly not a fan of poetry that rhymes. I'm not sure why. I just can't stand it. Perhaps it's because there isn't any rhyme or reason in the world. So poetry that rhymes just seems to me so false. It's okay as something to read to young children to help them grow up with an idea of the way things should be. But once you see what's going on in the world, it just starts to sound ridiculous. At least that's the way it sounds to me.
2.
As I grow older, I find I like poetry more and more. I think one of the things I like about it is the way it makes words stand out as something you can admire and enjoy. In the media nowadays, there are so many millions, billions, trillions of words that are either spoken or written, and they're just thrown away like linguistic garbage. But poetry puts a stop to that for a while, and it lets you see the true value of a few well-chosen words.
3. I never really liked poetry or literature at school, but since moving here I've got involved in the slam poetry scene, and now poetry is such an important part of my life. Slam poetry is great. We meet up somewhere in the city. There's a stage and a microphone and a light or two, and we take it in turns to get up and read out the poetry that we've written. No one is a professional poet or has any great qualifications in language and literature. We're all ordinary people writing poetry about whatever moves us. 4.
Poetry is definitely not as popular as it used to be. I think part of the problem is the way poetry is taught in school. When you do poetry at school, there's too much analysis, and the words stay on the page, lifeless and silent. The first lesson people should be taught is that you have to read poetry aloud to really appreciate it. A poem is something that you have to hear. Trying to appreciate a poem by silently reading the words in black and white on paper is like trying to appreciate music by only reading the score. It's crazy.
5.
The way I think about poetry, right, is this. Let's say you go into a fish and chip shop and order something to eat. They give you the fish and nothing else. What are you going to say? You're going to say, "Where's the chips?" That's the way it is with poetry. It's like the fish. It's no good without the chips, and the chips are the music. So you won't see me sitting down with a book of poetry, but you will find me downloading some of the great lyrics from my favourite band. That's real poetry.